I took the #1 gun in Warzone and put a twist on it. The RPK is good in long range, but you can turn it into an assault rifle for sniper support with a huge effective damage range and barely any recoil. That sounds illegal. It is illegal, but I get the build for you with a tuning screenshot and a bonus sniper build that I haven't shared yet with anyone at the end. Why not take the Cast-Off 762 over the RPK for that experiment? Quite simple. They both have the same time to kill, 600 and 600 milliseconds, but the RPK has vastly less recoil and is less bouncy than the Cast-Off. Base RPK, no attachments. And you can already good on any distance beam things away, and your recoil is not really there. It just wibble wobbles a little bit around, but that's about it. Like, look at that. There's no horizontal, crazy, vertical, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-dam. Now you have to improve the ADS time, and therefore you have a 30 and a 40 round mag. I'm using the 30 because you have low bullets to kill. If you feel more comfortable with the 40, that's fine. It's only 10 milliseconds difference in ADS time. Next up, we need the FSS OV laser for sprint to fire and ADS time, and the rear grip, the 2-track grip for sprint to fire speed and ADS time. So the holy trinity here. We can tune this to its sprint to fire. And here, if you actually look at sprint to fire, it's kind of like weird because it goes a little bit back and then it goes up front again. So here you can kind of tune it the full way. For ADS time, I've noticed the same. You have a very beginning, then it goes back, then it goes again. Kind of like sweet spot around 75 probably. Now you do have a 700 meters per second bullet velocity. That's technically enough. So we don't have to look at high velocity straight away. We can check if other things might be better. Now, we didn't put on a single recoil control attachment yet. The best one that goes for these kind of guns is usually the lock shot, because it does horizontal and vertical control on the range to really keep things under control nicely and not have the gun bounce out. Now with these 4 attachments, this is the base. And you notice it's a significant shrink, obviously also to 30 bullets, but it's very important to just keep it together. And like, even if you shoot this without a sight, which I've been doing now for a while, damn. Remember, we're using an LMG as an AR, and it's actually working so far. Now, you could go for an optic to really have this pinpoint target acquisition, because I do like having optics, especially when you're trying to go for these headshots. And on the distance, it might be a tad bit easier to hit those. If you're on controller, or if you're good with not using a sight, you can either use the high velocity rounds and then tune this towards recoil steadiness, 7, and damage range. That would be for not having any hit reg issues. If you feel like the bullet velocity is enough, we're gonna put on the shark fin, which does aiming stability, but at the same time, you can actually go for aim down sight speed and a wee bit of aim walk movements, which doesn't change much about the gun, but it makes it a wee bit faster. And again, this is an LMG. Doesn't really feel like an LMG, right? And your ADS time is significantly good for an LMG at this point. Now to that sniper build, we're taking the VICTUS because the body damage is just one of the highest, and with the LAP, SPX, SPR, and the SAB, you have some very hardcore drop-off where you don't hit super hard. The VICTUS, you know already. But what I'm doing different is I'm actually using the Mammoth Barrel. Mammoth Barrel does not allow you to lose a muzzle. And yes, you do lose a chunk of bullet velocity. But that doesn't matter because the gun, despite losing some bullet velocity, more or less has 0 bullet drop. You just point, click, shoot. Which means if I take the Mammoth and I don't have to use a muzzle, I can go for the VLK AZR or the AcroShot 5 milliwatt laser. Keep in mind, both have the same ADS minus. One is green, one is red. I've been having a better experience with the green beam because it's less visible. That ammunition, we're still slapping on the high velocity rounds, and we tune this obviously towards more bullet velocity. Damage range can be pulled out because there's 1 damage fall off. It's minimal. You can mitigate that. Stock, you're going to take the XRK Rise for aim down sight speed minus, and you sprint kind of faster. So why not? Because actually your LMG is maybe a bit slow. Aiming idle stability, aim down sight speed as well. Now, the best ADS time minus you can still get at this point is not the rear grip for the Bruin Q900. It is actually the optic, because we're talking here with a very big magnification. That's good. I mean, you already notice, relatively snappy, very decent. But if you don't like that magnification, or if you want to improve, you can go downwards from the Tableau optic on. That is 30 milliseconds minus, and it's actually a decent one. I do like this. With the green optic, it makes things visible. If you want to try this out, do that. It doesn't matter then your magnification because you have infinite range. You also have the option to take the BULLSEYE, which is minus 60 milliseconds ADS time, or the CRONEN Zero optic. The BULLSEYE has a chevron that not everyone likes, but it's minus 60 milliseconds and it reminds you of the old SPR. It might be a problem to shoot left to right running targets with this one though, so you might be preferring the CRONEN Zero optic, which you can also, by the way, tune towards a knot sight speed a little bit more. And you actually get one with a tiny dot. Now, that is a choose your poison thingy. I've been actually experimenting hardcore with the Tableau scope on night vision. Love it. Minus 30 milliseconds ADS time. Perfect. And you have this sniper. That paired together with the RPK, and you'll be an unstoppable force on the battlefields. Now, if you're more into the SMGs, check the top 5 out. And note, it's not only the Fennec, there's others that are banging as well.